Hello everyone, Abhishek here. Today's topic is chaining in Postman, or in other words, we are going to understand that how to extract the response and use it from one request in another request. So for that, in Postman, I have created two requests here, and we are going to use our sample API request response.n. So for that, I'm going to take two requests. One is for listing the users. So I'll use this particular endpoint. This is going to list the users, so I'll just rename this to list users and I'll put this here. And another request, I'm going to take a create request where probably a body is required, so we'll take this post request and this is the format of the body which is requested. So first let me copy this endpoint, and this is a post request, so I will change this to post and let me capture the body. This is the request and this is the body. Okay, let me put the sample body here, and since it is in JSON format, I'm going to select raw and then JSON here, and I'm going to just put the body. Now what our use case is going to be, we are going to get the list of users from here. So whatever response we are getting, I'll probably use the first name from here. I'll try to fetch the data first name, and I'm going to use that in the body here. So let's get started. How do we do that? So let me just save this and go to our first request. So first see the response. We are getting page, total number of pages, data, and there are several datas displayed here. Whenever this is a get request, so whenever we will run this request, we are going to get this response. So first we are going to navigate to test section. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to fetch this response, and since this response is in JSON format, we need to use JavaScript. So I'll just create a variable response is equal to pm dot response dot, since it is in JSON format, I'm going to use JSON and open and close brackets. Now it's a good practice to use the variable type, so I'll just use constant, so I'll just write const here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so this is going to pass the response whatever we are getting. Okay, now we want to fetch, our use cases, we want to fetch this particular name, Michael. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to create any variable name. I'll just write name here, and now we need to understand that we need to fetch this. So the path would go something like this. So here we'll see the first thing, it is inside data. Okay, so initially we have passed the response in response section, so I'll write response dot, now first thing is it is inside data. Now here if you will take a look at the response, you'll see that there are several datas here. One is Michael, next is someone else, next is someone else. So it works in form of an array. So here if I want to refer to the first request and fetch the first name, I will put 0 here, and now whatever inside data I want to pull. So inside data I want to pull first name, so I'll write first underscore name and then a semicolon. Okay, so what it is going to do is it is initially fetching, parsing the JSON response, and then it is fetching the specific record which you want to fetch here. Now in case you're not understanding this, there are various tools you can use. So one is called JSON Pathfinder, where you can put this particular request and then whatever data you want to use. So JSON pathfinder.com. Here if you want, let me just copy this response and you can paste it here, and then whatever you want you can select here, and it will give you, like, let's say we want to use this. So here in case of data, this is our 0 data and this is our name. So if I select this, it is going to give me the same format here. Okay, so this is what I am using here. Now what this particular command is doing, this is fetching this data. Now if it is fetching the correct data or not, initially when we are creating this, we can use our console.log command to display this. So I'll just write name here and I'll put a semicolon here, and I'll open console, I'll clear my console, and I'll run this. So this should be picking up Michael. So if I click on send, here we see that we are able to pass the response. Now I'll just quickly change this to few other variables in case we want to fetch some other data. So let's say I want to fetch let's say the second data last name. Okay, so here I'll put 1 and here I'll put last underscore name. Okay, so that is going to be fetched here. If I click on send, it is going to fetch another name, that is Ferguson here. So we'll work with this particular data only. Since we are not doing any specific request, we can work with this data only. So now what I want to do is, in the next post request, I have to supply a body. Okay, what I want to do is, whatever name I'm fetching here, that name I want to supply in case of name here. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll take a use of creating a variable. Okay, so setting a variable, we can set any type of variable which you want. In this example, let's take a environment variable. Okay, now here I'll just write name, and in case of variable value you don't need double quotes because you already have a value defined here. So I'll just write name here. Okay, now what this is going to do is, this is going to create a variable. In case you are not familiar with this, you can watch my previous video on this. Now we have created a variable with this particular name, so I'll just copy this and I'll go in my post request. In case of this particular name, I am going to use double curly brackets, and I'm going to put this name. Now when I run this particular request, and then if I run this particular request, it is going to use that particular name what we have fetched. So let's see it in action. Let me first run this. Okay, now if I go to this and I click on send, you'll be able to see in the response whatever name we have fetched, that is coming. Let's make sure it is coming correctly. So I'll just put first here and we'll just see here it is Lindsay, and if I will just save, I'll click on send, I'll click on new, the next post request, and I'll again click on send here. See, the name is updated here. Now similarly, let's say for the job also we want to give the same name, so I can just put the in the format they want, and I can use this name, I can put this, and I can click on send, and it is going to update both. So this is how we can fetch the data from one of the responses and use it in another request. And in case of specifics on how to fetch the data from a JSON response, you can always use JSON Pathfinder, or there are other tools as well. You'll just Google it, you'll be able to find, and then accordingly you can set the path name and you can use it accordingly in your scripts. That summarizes the chaining concept. Let me know for any feedback. Have a great day. Bye bye.